Malgo, congratulations on
Yes,
that.
wonderful.
It's truly a beautiful documentary. And some of your photography is just stunning. Some of the images we saw, even if it's just a Bodhi leaf or, you know, the little nuns, the junior nuns. It was lovely. Was that Venerable Choki I heard?
No, me, Sharon.
Oh, Sharon.
Yes, congratulations, Malgo. It was wonderful.
Yes.
Why Sri Lanka? Why not Thailand? What, you know, why not Burma?
There was Thai nun there as well.
No, yeah.
I know.
So should I explain?
Yeah.
Yes. So why Sri Lanka, not Thailand? So everything started for me from Thailand, but it's another story. Because first I was in Thailand. There I meet Bhikkhuni Dhammananda. And after this visit in her monastery, I learned that, so this visit in Thailand with Dhammananda was amazing for me. It was like really wow. And then I learned that the roots of it is in Sri Lanka, that this is the source of Bhikkhuni ordination, of this revival. So this is why I chose Sri Lanka to go there. And yeah. Okay. Yeah, and in Sri Lanka, I could meet first Bhikkhunis fully ordained after 1,000 years, what is Bhikkhuni Kusuma. And I was also very lucky because in the same time was there Bhikkhuni Dhammananda. I didn't know this when I was buying tickets. So it was also very good because I knew her from last year from Thailand, and I did their short film, 10 minutes, and she liked the film. So she introduced me to another nuns and allow me filming and everything. And because she has, you know, she's very respected there, then, you know, this opened me door to be, you know, like, they trust me because of her.
And Malgo, how long did it take you, all that filming in Sri Lanka and in Thailand? And I'm not sure if you went to Myanmar as well.
Yes, I was in Sri Lanka 2 months. So it was two months of filming and traveling in these different monasteries. I also was travel, I think 10 days with those group from Bangladesh in the bus. So it was very interesting because they didn't speak English. I didn't speak Bengali. So it was, I usually never know when we are going. And then I was editing this film 1 year. It was not that it was full time 1 year, but I would say it was half year, like of full time. And so it was a very long time, mainly because it was difficult for me to, you know what I mean? I had a lot of material and it was difficult to choose, right? Because you could tell this story in a lot of ways, right? And
perhaps you could have another documentary out of what you didn't use.
Yeah, I could, and now I would, do it differently. So I had also a lot of version, like I think 11, and one was like 1 hour and a half, another was 24 minutes. So yeah, but at some point I just stopped. Like people started telling me that maybe I should stop.
And get it together. Well, we're very pleased you did. Now, I think Venerable Choki is with us as our Bhikkhuni.
Yes.
And very important for us to hear what you thought. I know it's a different tradition. I know Theravada is different from...
Well, the interesting thing, of course, as you know, Helen, is that we have the same, or not exactly the same, but debates in the Tibetan Buddhist tradition of, you know, the lineage not being established or dying out or so forth. And you know, that's why I was interested last time with Tenzin Palmo coming in on Sujao's presentation, and I'm pretty sure she said that the lamas in the Tibetan tradition, I think I know who, was looking at full ordination. And so I guess, you know, what I find really very helpful is that sort of bringing that awareness, because, you know, yes, there are differences in the different traditions, but the Vinaya is the Vinaya. And, you know, tracing back to Shakyamuni Buddha, and the Buddha had no qualms with full ordination. So, yeah, I think that Margot's been very courageous. It's not easy in, you know, going out there on a limb. We have one of our nuns who's in Bendigo currently, who's Sri Lankan and was in Sri Lanka in our tradition, and she had a hard time also in Sri Lanka, but had many supportive lamas in our tradition as well. So I think if we keep that perspective, males I'm talking about, so we keep that perspective, I think. And you know, Margo is also you know, instrumental in the first the statue of the first Buddhist nun to be, I think, very soon, Margo, arriving at Chenrezig Institute. I saw it's it could be on their way at the end of the month, maybe, I think.
Who is that? The first Buddhist nun?
Gautami, you know, sort of the Buddha's mother.
Mother, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. She comes under different names, but Gautami. So I don't know if you want to say anything about that, but I was very inspired, I mean, Margo, because I was very inspired when Margo had that suggestion and said, what about this? And I think, well, Margo can talk about it, but I think Geshe Sultran said, oh, what about Tara? And she says, there's lots of Taras here. There's Margo in the whole Tara room full of Taras. But to show the beginning of the lineage. Margo, if you want to mention, I'm not sure.
Well,
Do you want to say it? Yeah, please.
Yeah. Well, no, I was, because we have so many master statue. So I was feeling that it will be important to add also some women statue. And then we have first Bhikkhuni, Gautami, who raised Buddha. And also she was, you know, she opened this for another women. So, and it wasn't easy, right? Because she came to Buddha with another like 100 nuns, and then they request ordination. So we could say that it was first women march in the history. So yes, so I think it's important to have this inspiration in the center and to have this Gautami statue and also know her story.
I think also, Margo, as you said, because Chenrezig Institute is a nuns community, so all the more reason, right?
Yes, and we are on the Aboriginal female ground, so this is.
Oh, I didn't know that. Well done.
Yes.
Would anyone else? I can't. If you'd like to say anything, you can write a question in the chat room, or I'll put your hand up. We'll get to you. But getting back to Sri Lanka, Malgo, something that was interesting to me was there's an obvious need for these nuns, that there are all these empty monasteries in the regions. And so, you know, there is a place for them there. Would you like to comment on that?
Yes, I agree with it. And there is, yes. So, well, of course, because there are two, you know, like there is some feminist approach to this, that everything will change, you know, when monks, you know, when there is not enough male, then, you know, only then, you know, they could encourage some women to take those positions, right? Because, you know, they are not going to put women to the main monasteries, but to those, you know, in the villages or something. But still, it's a good start. And it's also showed that it's important, right?
Yeah, And also in Sri Lanka, we saw a lot of Venerable Kusuma, who sadly passed away quite recently, I think.
Mhm.
Yeah, and you obviously, you know, you interviewed her. Tell us your, you know, and she was the first nun in this modern time. So, you know, tell us your impressions of her.
Yeah, so I started my trip in Sri Lanka from visiting Bhikkhuni Kusuma, and I just, it was my first, I just landed in Sri Lanka, and then I took taxi to Bhikkhuni Kusuma. And, you know, during, you know, this trip, I was preparing myself how to ask, because I didn't say that I would like to do film, right? Because I thought that, you know, it's not the question for writing emails, right? And when I was coming to Sri Lanka, I didn't have any nuns who, you know, I didn't make any appointments with any nuns, because it's not really, you know, I think it's always better to ask in person. So when I was in this taxi, I was very stressed, right? Because I knew that everything depends on this one meeting. So then I was thinking, oh no, probably I should rest few days in the hotel and then go, not just after, you know, so many hours of flying from Poland. And, you know, this, you know, from winter, snow to this, you know, sun and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, but I came there and Bhikkhuni Kusuma was so open and so like easygoing and very warm. And just in our first conversation, we started talking. She asked me a lot of like personal questions. And then I very quickly said that I would like to do the film about her Bhikkhunis after 1000 years. So she was a little bit surprised. And she just sit and look in my eyes very deeply, and so it took some time, and for me it was like, oh, you know. And then she said okay. And yeah, and for me it was yeah, something very precious and very, very big. Yeah, then next day I was also, Bhikkhuni Kusuma was very, because next day I was so excited that I'm in Sri Lanka, so I went out to, you know, see another monasteries and everything, because I was staying in her center. So I went, and I didn't know that it's become late, so early dark at 5 o'clock. So I was quite away in some monastery and it became dark. And also I'm not very good in remembering way. So I was doing always photos where to come back, but my phone died. So then I was trying to come back, but my phone died. You know, everything was dark. So I was lost. And then someone, I think I was hitchhiking, and someone just stopped, and I said that I would like come to Bhikkhuni Kusuma Center. So they okay, and they put me to this, you know, small car, and we came together to Bhikkhuni Kusuma Center. And when I came, Bhikkhuni Kusuma was so angry on me, like in this, you know, taking care, you know, approach. And she said that, you know, I cannot do stuff like this, that if I would like to stay at her center, that I need to stay and not go out. Otherwise, I should stay in the hotel. So I could choose what I would like to do. So I say, okay, I will stay and I will not go out, even for shopping. So if I would like to buy something, that I had to ask one of her helpers. So yeah, so then I was only on her property, not going out.
And is that center, her center, Kusuma Center, the same as Ayakima's center?
Yeah.
Because you know, obviously in Australia, we consider Ayakima Australian and very proud of what she did establishing the lineage. So did you hear anything, people talking about Ayakima?
So
did you learn anything about her there?
Yeah, so because Ayakema was very close friend with Bhikkhuni Kusuma, and she Bhikkhuni Kusuma named her Bhikkhuni Kusuma Center as Ayakema Center as a recognition for her.
Yeah.
Yes, so this is what.
And also I was hoping Ranjani could join us. I don't think she's been able to, but yes, she was also, Ranjani De Silva was also very involved in
Yes.
those first ordinations.
Yes, and I could, if I could add about Ranjani De Silva, that I was lucky that when I was on the Sakyadhita conference in 2019, I was with Ranjani De Silva in one room.
Oh, yes, yes.
Yes, yes.
So
And then-
Ranjani very involved in setting up the first conferences and in the ordinations. So with all this, did you ever think, well, maybe I should become a nun, maybe I should ordain, or you're happy being a filmmaker?
Yes, I'm happy being a filmmaker. I'm receiving this question quite often, probably because I did film about Buddhist nuns,
Yeah.
but no, I'm not planning to become nun by, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just wondering if anyone else would like to join us. What about Jack?
Thanks so much for making this documentary. It's like really important and so well done. So thank you so much. And, you know, I think you yourself are proof positive of, you know, the value of having both ordained and lay people, because, you know, and you've offered something that's so wonderful, that's come from your own vision and your own heart, you know, about what Buddhism can be. And yeah, it was lovely to hear someone saying, you know, just reminding us all that, you know, the Buddha did say that Buddhism can only really be strong with the fourfold Sangha. And yeah, and we kind of all know that discrimination is just not, can't really be justified within Buddhism, but yeah, we do have this, you know, these institutions that that hold on to that. So yeah, thank you. It's wonderful.
Thank you.
Malgo, can I now go back? And when you said part of your inspiration to do this was your being brought up in...
Oh, I can hear you.
You can't hear me?
Yeah, if you can speak. Yeah, I cannot.
Oh, sorry. I don't think I'm muted. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, now it's better.
Sorry. Yeah, look, just going back, I know you spoke of some of your inspiration for doing this coming from being brought up in Catholic Poland. But I'm just wondering why these subjects, women, religion, generally, whether Catholic or Buddhism, are so important to you.
Yes, so everything started when I was a small child, and Paul II Pope, he came to Poland, and it was communist time, and I had this feeling that someone very important is coming, right? That all people on the streets and all my family watching the television with silence and excitement, and I had this feeling that it's someone who really have an impact on the world and really impact on people's hearts and minds and, you know, souls, you know, depending what, you know, what philosophy we are using. So yeah, so I was very, I had this, you know, feeling that someone very important and precious is coming. And then I asked my mom if a woman can become Pope. And then my mother told me no. And I was very shocked, right? Because, and I asked my mother why. And my mom said that, okay, if I will be older, then I will understand. So since this time, you know, I'm just trying to understand it. And I'm really looking for each positive changes, you know, because I always feel that it's better to see positive things and to focus on it, because then we will have more positive. So yeah, so then these childhood questions lead me to, just make research how it looks in the different religion. I did also one film about women in Christian. Now I don't remember because it was very short film. And then about this Thailand, and then my first full-length film about Sri Lanka. And also I made one about shamans in Philippines, but I didn't finish editing it. So yeah, I just feel that this equality in the spirituality is very important, because we have now, this movement, feminist movement, that we have equality at work. We are working on equality in the government, right? There is still a lot of to do, but last step of it is equality in these religion structures. Right, this is one part, and another part is also this re-establish and reborn of those women, goddess women spirituality. So there are these two changes what I really support, and then I believe that just our world will be much better, right? Because patriarchy, we see the results, wars, poverty, discrimination, this destroy of our planet. So I believe when we change this and this equality, then everything will be better, because this is the source of all, all problems, this inequality. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's wonderful, Malgo. Thank you. Beautifully said, and connecting all these things together. And I just couldn't agree more with you.
Yeah, we thank you for that. And in a way, do you think Theravada and Buddhist nuns are leading the way?
I think, yeah, I think they are a very beautiful example for me, like in the Christian country, right? In the Catholic country. And also they are very, I was very like surprised and inspired, and that they didn't have this, like aggression or something to monks, right? They had only compassion to those who, who think differently. They had compassion that someone is not reading text correctly or have this different view. So this was for me very new approach.
And I don't know if there's any other questions about the film. Sharon, would you like to say anything?
No, but I'm just commending Malgo's work and her vision. I know she's making a great contribution to Chinrezig. I mean, it's very well established, but it's always lovely to see fresh young blood come into an organisation, and you can really see it. So congratulations, Malgo, and who happens to be my boss as a volunteer, and she's very thoughtful and considerate. So thank you.
Thank you.
So, Malgo, given that, perhaps you can explain the story. You, as I understand it, you came to Australia. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, you came to Australia to screen your documentary at the Sakyadhita conference in the Blue Mountains. So how did you go from there to living at Chinrezig and working with the volunteers? What happened?
Yes. So everything unfolded very interesting way, because I already had an idea to travel the world and make films, but I was planning to go to India. But in the meantime, because it's like cheap country and everything, and in the meantime, I received invitation for Sakyadhita conference. So, of course, I went there. And then I was thinking that because I pay, for the ticket and everything, that it will be good to stay in some Buddhist center for a longer time. And then someone, and it was my friend who I met on the film festival in Sarajevo, he recommended me to come to Chinrezig.
Oh.
Yes, so he just, yeah, and it's interesting because he's living now near in Maleni, and we met in Sarajevo.
Small world.
Yes, yes. So yeah, so he just sent me the link, and I just saw the website and I thought, oh, it's like it looks very good, and I thought that I would like to volunteer for like 3 months to see how it will be. But I had in my mind that maybe it will be 1 year if everything will be good. Yeah, but yeah,
And then COVID hit, lockdown hit.
yes, and I had idea when I was leaving Poland, I had idea to be abroad at least 1 year and then see what will happen. And yeah, and then it happened and I'm here 2 years. And yeah, and I have visa until July 2023. Yeah, but my main thing is to do 2 films about Chenrezig Institute.
Tell us about those.
Hmm?
Tell us about those 2 films you're planning.
Yeah, how it is. So it was very good. Like before COVID, I did a lot. Then COVID came and I started doing a lot of this multimedia and everything. And it was for me full-time job. So I didn't have time for editing. I only had time for recording. So I was, during these 2.5 years, I was recording all those important events. So now I need to come back to editing of the film and to do some good new images and everything. So I need to finish this film before my visa finish. So it's before July 2023, or maybe even earlier. The best it would be on the end of 2022. Then I will have time for promotion and maybe travel with this film and do screenings here.
And well, we look forward to seeing that about Chenrezig. And you've screened the Bhikkhuni film, I think in many countries, and it's won awards. Can you tell us about that?
Yes, so I when I was doing this film, and it was my first film, first full-length film.
Okay.
So I didn't.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So, yes, so I didn't know what I will do with this film when I finish it, right? And I didn't know how to do it, how to make it happen that people will watch it. And I didn't want to do it on YouTube. But somehow everything unfolded very good because film was screened on the film festival all over the world, and also was screened in the cinemas in Poland. And also my main target group are universities in US. So they are buying these educational licenses, and then they are showing it to students. So this is for me very, very good because people are watching it and, you know, as part of their education program, and they're, I believe, discussing about this. So this is, you know, so this film, you know, I didn't expect, you know, that it will be so, you know, watched and discussed for in so many places and for so long time. So for me, it's something very, very good. But it also shows that, you know, time is very good, that people need this change, you know, that people looking for information about this.
Malgo, do you think there's a market in Australia, in Australian universities? Do you think there's a market in Australia, Australian universities, or even in the, perhaps in the independent cinemas will screen it?
Well, I would like, I would like. So we are talking about this. So maybe some universities will hear it, and on my website, they could buy license very easily. Yeah. And the same with the screenings in cinemas.
I think maybe approaching the universities that have Buddhist studies may be a good start. And so we wish you good luck. Now,
thank you.
Just a couple more things. And of course, getting on to your funding is very important. But tell us about where you are and what we can see behind you. I mean, I know you're in Chenrezig, but which part of Chenrezig?
Yeah, so I'm in the Tara room, and you can see behind me 21 Taras.
Is 21 significant?
Yes, but about Taras, probably Tupten Chucky could tell us more.
Choki, are you still there?
Yeah, I was just unmuting. Just in brief, it's a longer story, but Tara, when she was, as I say, training on the path, not yet Buddha, but she had very well advanced realizations, and her name was Yeshi Dawa, and it said that you know, the monks were saying, oh, it's a shame you're in female form, you should make a vow to come back as male, and then you can become a Buddha. Like, you can see the degeneration of the understanding of the teachings at the time. So she vowed always to come back female. And that particular manifestation of all the 21 Taras comes from Chenrezig was despairing about seeing all the suffering in the world, doing so much practice and seeing all the suffering. And Tara, green Tara, came out of one tears and emanated all the 21 Taras on 21 petals of lotus, and said Tara represents swift action, and says, yes, I will come to your aid. So I think that swift action, we see it in Margo, you know, just unstoppable, unflappable, and really
She's another Tara.
she's another Tara making a huge impact in the world, you know. It's just phenomenal, really.
Yeah, thank you. I can see a hand up, and it's Venerable, is it Venerable Dechan?
Yeah.
Please go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know. When I was in India, up at Dharamsala or Tashita, and I was doing a retreat up there, I found this book. Have you guys seen it before? It was copyright 2015.
What's the book? I can't see it.
Hold it up. Yeah.
Can you see it? It's the revival of the Bhikkhuni vows in Tibetan Buddhism tradition.
Who's this one by? Dachenla?
It's by authored by the Committee for Bhikkhuni Ordination in the Tibetan Tradition, edited by the Foundation for Buddhist Studies, and it's got letters of statements of support from His Holiness the Dalai Lama, Sakya Gongma Rinpoche, Kyabje Ganden Tri Rinpoche, Gyalwa Kamapa, Kyabje Tulsik Rinpoche, Gyalwang Drukpa Rinpoche, and Dragkun Kyabgyon Jetsong Rinpoche. So apparently they're all Rinpoches from all four traditions are represented there, and they're all very supportive of having the Bhikkhuni vow reinstated in Tibetan, within the Tibetan Buddhist tradition. But my understanding is that the Bhikkhuni ordination never made it to Tibet, that it has never been a part of the Tibetan tradition.
Yes.
Not that, that's my understanding. So it would be something that, you know, to me it seems as though, well, if it's never been there, it's never been lost. But it now is an opportunity to instate it as a part of Tibetan Buddhism. So, you know, it seems to me that it hopefully really is only a matter of time when you've got all those high lamas, you know, in support of it. Seems to me that it's just got to go through a few committees and stuff like that, which, you know.
So it's good to see that it's happening in Tibetan Buddhism as well as Theravada.
Yeah, I think thanks, Dachenla, because I'm pretty sure that's why I was interested to listen to the recording of Venerable Ajahn Sujato's talk, because I think it was I think Tenzin Palmer, when she mentioned, someone mentioned about the full ordination, that one of the Tibetan lamas was going to start doing that. And I just wondered whether it was His Holiness Karmapa, because he said that, you know, earlier on, that he he sort of made an indication of a commitment to actually bestowing ordination for women in Tibetan tradition. So it may be that he's now, reached that point of being offering that. I don't know, but we can see that, of course, there are very many already within the Tibetan tradition, but so far I have to go outside of that. So that's the whole debate that happens. And yeah, maybe. Yes,
and also each year we are getting more geshe-mas too. I think in time the geshe-mas will say, well, come on, we've got the same level of education as you these days. It's, well, why can't we have the same level of ordination as you guys too? I think it's with geshe-mas are the ones that will probably push it.
I think you're right to a large extent. I know Tenzin Palmo said if you don't have the backing of the male lamas, it won't fly. But also just on that geshe-ma degree, because it was originally said that women couldn't complete that degree because they didn't have the full ordination, therefore they couldn't study the the Bhikkhuni vows in the extent that is studied by the monks. And so that was a prohibitor for a period of time, which has been overcome. And I know that our teachers in FPMT, Lama Zopa Rinpoche and Lama Yeshe, in establishing the nunnery to get exactly the same education, and we see that they were, the top graduates out of, the big graduation ceremony, not the first one when Kosal Awangmo, the German nun, but the subsequent one. And that encouragement, I think you're right, Dejan, that they'll be a force to be reckoned with because they can debate very well.
Something to look forward to.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm sorry. I've got to go. I've got evening prayers like in 5 minutes.
Okay,
So thank you very much for holding it, Malgo. The first time that I've seen the movie, the documentary, I enjoyed it very much. Thank you. So
Okay,
thank you very much.
Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us, Venerable. Let me know. I can't see everyone at the moment, but if there's any more questions. What Venerable Choki was referring to was our previous webinar with Bhante Sujato, which, if you would like to watch it, is up on our YouTube channel. It was a terrific webinar, and we had comments. Tenzin Palmo was online, and various other nuns and Bhikkhunis were online. So it's I can recommend it as well, worth watching. So if now, Malgo, tell us about you're currently crowdfunding or raising funds to for another camera, is it?
Yes. So now I'm doing crowdfunding campaign to buy a new camera because, I found this topic because I'm doing now 2 films. One is about origin of Chenrezig Institute. And based on this, I would like to show this bigger process, how Tibetan Buddhists went from Tibet to the Western world, and it's about origin because, it shows how small things could do such big difference. And the second part of this is more current issue, like full ordination in Tibetan Buddhism. So women issue, and also Aboriginal people issue, because we are on the Aboriginal ground. So I would like to, in the second part, I would like to include those 2 current, issue what are going on. And for me, it's very important to show it in the best possible way, right? Because the topic is so important. So to show it, in the professional, good quality, with the beautiful picture way is important.
So a good digital camera, top of the line.
Yeah. So I would like to buy a new camera, because my camera I bought it in 2015, and now we have 2021, so it's 6 years, and everything goes so, so that I need to do it. And now I also would like to do films, like before it was for me, I didn't expect that it will become my profession. I thought that I'm just doing break between working in the corporation, and now I really would like to, to travel and make films. So for me, it will be my main, tool of work. So I choose a very good camera. It's a Sony. So it's like quite small, so I could, do it, and travel and take everywhere. And and it's recommended as a, this first, like as a very good camera for documentary films, because it's small and the pictures are very beautiful. And yes, I started crowdfunding campaign, and I raise now more than half. So now I have to buy a body, and now I'm raising funds to buy a lens.
Okay.
Yeah, so I share the link in the chat, but I could I could share maybe again for those who maybe join later, because sometimes if someone joined later, then they cannot see the previous one.
Yes,
so yes,
GoFundMe.
Yeah, GoFundMe, new camera. Yeah, and I will be grateful for any funds, even even the smallest matter, because it's built, it's a crowdfunding.
Well, we really appreciate your generosity in letting us have this screening this afternoon. So I hope people will, as we say, dig deep and contribute to your camera, because Malgo, we really appreciate it. And I think, you have a talent for this, and hopefully will go far. So, so if everyone could copy that link and perhaps give what they can, that would be really appreciated. Malgo, thank you again so much for the screening, and and good luck with staying in Australia and Chenrezig and your next documentaries, and raising enough for the camera. So just before we wind up, just letting you know about what's happening with Sakyadhita. So we have in just a couple of weeks on Boxing Day, we have the international conference, and it should be very good. If you haven't registered, I suggest you do it. The theme is pretty much what we've been talking about: Buddhist women beyond boundaries. It's going to look at both interfaith, interdependence, and environment. And there's 2 or 3 sessions with various papers and workshops every day. It goes for 3 days: Boxing Day, the 26th, the 27th, and the 28th. So I recommend it. It won't be quite the same as the conferences where we see each other, but in person, but I'm sure it will still work out. And as we're moving into 2022, we are looking forward to, at Sakyadhita Australia, to doing what you think would work, whether it be more webinars or meditation or sessions together. So, or more documentaries if they're out there. So let us know what you'd like. You can always get in touch on the Facebook site or on our website. And so before wrapping up, I'd again ask Venerable Choki to give us a blessing. Venerable Choki.
Yes, I just so joyous, so delighted, as you know, in this session, and for what it marks for Buddhists. I was going to say in Australia, but for women in the Buddhist faith in the world, but not just Buddhism, because if I could just say, as part of the Women's Interfaith Network in Sydney, I was participating in that when one of my friends was an Anglican minister and was elevated to, I think I gave her, I won't say anyway, to a very high status that previously hadn't included women. So recognize that full level of ordination. And so it's across the board. And I think Sakyadhita has such a wonderful remit to be able to raise the profile of women in Buddhism, and those that inspire us to continue on the path together. May we all be safe and well and happy, particularly at this time. And you know, encourage each other with great joy and, you know, great dedication to our practice, to our study, to our whatever area of endeavor we're in. Go well, be safe, be happy.
Thank you, Venerable Jogi, and thank you everyone for joining us. And special thanks to Malgo for, as I said, her generosity in letting us see the movie, and wishing her all the very best for the future. Go well.
Thank you. Thank you so much for invitation and conversation after, and all your questions and comments. Very precious. Thank you.
Thank you.
Be in touch.
Malgo, can I just say something since you're still here?
Yes, I am.
I'm really stoked about one thing, which is that this is happening in Buddhism, because if you look at the other religions, it's actually a more difficult project in a lot of ways in other religions to have equality with women. It's a much more realistic thing actually in Buddhism, because actually any kind of discrimination really isn't consistent with Buddhist teachings, and that's clear. And so the role of making change in Buddhism is actually probably easier than in other religions, and such a great thing to do, to actually have a world religion. You know, we could potentially have a world religion that said no to discrimination, and that would be, you know, a really big deal to have that. But in Buddhism, that's actually a possibility, and we mustn't forget that, and that everything that we do is taking steps towards that. Just the existence of Sakyadhita, and you know, yeah,
Yeah.
we're all helping that to happen in our own way. So yeah, and it is sort of happening, isn't it, in different traditions? So within Buddhism, I mean.
Yeah, it is amazing, and until I saw Malgo's film, I don't think I realized the extent to which Theravadan Buddhism was leading with in this area. So
yeah, but there's a lot of strong holdouts against it as
absolutely. Ajahn Brahm
in Theravada Buddhism.
Ajahn Brahm and as the patriarchy. Although I must say, when I said that to Bhante Sujato, he said, "Oh, Venerable Akaliko said, well, we're feminists." So not everyone, but there is a very strong, very conservative element in I believe both Thailand and Sri Lanka.
But in the West as well.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
You know. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And, things are looking positive in Zen as well, I just wanted to add, because we don't mention Zen much here.
No, not since we don't have Venerable Chikwan with us so much.
Yeah, because when it comes to actually priest ordination in Zen, there's actually no difference. It's not based on gender at all. There's no different rules or anything.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, yeah. All right.
Okay, I think it's time to wrap up.
Say goodbye. Yes.
Say goodbye. So, Malgo, we really are very, very grateful. And I just hope, you know, there's Sonia. Sonia, you were very quiet, but did you want to say anything? You're muted. You're muted, Sonia.
You need to unmute.
I've been working quietly in the background.
Oh, of course. You may get a transcription of this.
Yes, I have recorded this, and yes, it's all going well.
As you probably know, Malgo, Sonia is a whiz at transcribing things, and I think she's transcribed our Q&A. So
Oh, great.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
and if it's okay with you, we'll put it up.
We'll make sure you get a copy, Malgo.
Yeah.
Yeah, this meeting's been very heartening. Yeah.
It has.
Yeah, really.
It has. I mean, I think I've watched the movie 3 times now in the Blue Mountains, and I watched it last week and then again this afternoon. And every time I see something more. And this afternoon I noticed the photography, you know, the beautiful bubbles coming up. And as I said, you know, the Bodhi leaves and the way you've captured the faces of the nuns.
And they're such gutsy women, aren't they?
Well, I think
Yeah.
yeah.
I haven't seen it before, so it was lovely.
I haven't heard. Yeah,
Yeah.
Well, I can tell you, there's a couple of watchings. So, yeah. Okay, everyone. I think it's time. So, thank you again, Malgo. It's
All right.
Okay,
Thanks, Malgo.
okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.